I woke up to find my Filipina girlfriend holding well, let's just say she had a firm grip on a very private part of me. It wasn't the first time. If you're dating a Filipino or thinking about it, there are some bedroom behaviors that might surprise you. This unusual habit is actually more common than you think, and today I'm going to explain what it means and why some Filipinas do it. This intimate gesture has deep cultural roots that many foreigners misunderstand at first. What seems unusual to Westerners often carries significant meaning in Filipino culture. I wondered, was this about intimacy, comfort, or something else entirely? This scenario represents a surprisingly common experience reported by Western men in relationships with Filipinas. The phenomenon often leaves men puzzled, especially when they discover through conversations with friends that they're experiencing a shared pattern rather than an isolated incident. The mysterious nighttime habit. Imagine this. You're sleeping peacefully beside your Filipina girlfriend when something wakes you in the middle of the night. As you become aware of your surroundings, you realize her hand is gently resting on your most private area. She's fast asleep, completely unaware, yet maintaining this intimate contact throughout the night. For Western men raised with clear notions of personal space, this behavior creates genuine confusion. The cultural dissonance raises questions. Is this a sexual advance, an unconscious habit, or something deeply rooted in Filipino culture? During a casual evening of drinks in Manila, Robert from Australia discovered the widespread nature of this behavior. I honestly thought it was my girlfriend's quirk. Then, somehow the topic came up with other expats. Nearly everyone in a relationship with a Filipina had experienced the same thing. We were all equally baffled. John, an American expat living in Cebu with his girlfriend for 2 years, shared, "The first time it happened, I thought it was just a random thing. But then it kept happening night after night. She'd be sound asleep, but somehow always find her way there. I was confused because it didn't seem sexual. She was literally sleeping." David, married to his Filipino wife for over 5 years, offers insight after finally addressing the behavior directly. "When I asked my wife about it, she was embarrassed at first. Then she explained that it makes her feel safe and connected. It's like physical reassurance that I'm there with her, even when she's unconscious." The mystery deepens considering this behavior isn't typically discussed openly. It rarely appears in dating guides about Filipino culture or in discussions about cultural differences. Instead, it emerges primarily in private conversations between Western men comparing relationship experiences. What motivates this behavior remains intriguing. The fact that it occurs during sleep complicates simple interpretations. Some men wonder if it's a form of possession, a way of claiming territory. Others question if it's related to relationship insecurity, a physical way of ensuring their partner remains close throughout the night. This revelation points towards security and connection rather than desire. The nighttime habit serves as a physical anchor, creating a continuous bond during vulnerable sleeping hours. The weight of a hand, the warmth of contact, these sensations provide subconscious comfort throughout the night. This cultural difference naturally extends to adult relationships, where physical closeness symbolizes security and commitment. The specific nature of the contact holding a particularly vulnerable body part represents an expression of trust and security. It communicates, "I'm entrusting you with my most vulnerable self." Filipino society values closeness and physical proximity extensively. Many Filipinos grow up sleeping in close quarters with family members, often sharing beds well into adolescence. Personal space exists differently than in Western households, where children typically have their own rooms and privacy is emphasized early. The phenomenon crosses regional and socioeconomic lines within the Philippines. Michael from Canada notes, "My girlfriend is a professional with a master's degree. When I mentioned this habit, she had no idea she was doing it. She laughed and said her mother once told her she did the same thing with her father. It seems to be passed down generationally. Particularly fascinating is how many Filipinas engage in this behavior unconsciously. The automatic nature suggests deeply ingrained patterns rather than calculated actions. During the deepest phases of sleep, their bodies instinctively seek this specific form of contact for comfort. This generational aspect points to cultural transmission rather than individual quirks. While not universal among all Filipinos, the behavior appears common enough to represent a cultural pattern. For Western men experiencing this for the first time, understanding the security-seeking motivation transforms perception. What initially seems invasive often reveals itself as a profound expression of trust and desire for constant connection. This nighttime habit illustrates how differently intimacy can be expressed across cultures. What appears strange through a Western lens makes sense within Filipino values around closeness. Not every Filipina exhibits this behavior, but its frequency suggests cultural significance that goes as casual habit, reflecting deeply held beliefs about how security in relationships should feel, even in the vulnerability of sleep.